Hello in TV land. Yeah, bonsoir tout le monde. Hello everyone. This is Phil. Welcome to episode 8 of The Vintage Kids. Bienvenue à l'épisode 8 The Vintage Kid. Hello, Jim. Hope everyone is doing fine. Tonight is something special. Ce soir, on va faire quelque chose de spécial. As you guys know, I've told you a few weeks ago, si vous vous souvenez bien, je vous ai dit il y a quelques semaines que je voulais faire une espèce de Obi-Wan Kenobi pour chacun des épisodes. I wanted to do an Kenobi little mini, salut Michel, episode on each, sur chacun des épisodes, on each episode. But tomorrow is the finale, so I'm late. I did not have time to do what I wanted to do. So tonight we're going to go through 5 episodes of Obi-Wan. And donc ce soir, on va passer à travers les 5 premiers épisodes de Obi-Wan ensemble. Donc si vous n'avez pas vu encore Obi-Wan, if you have not watched the Obi-Wan series, well, you better wait to watch this. It's going to be available on YouTube and on Yoda's workshop. Je vous invite à peut-être écouter ce podcast après avoir vu les épisodes de Obi-Wan, parce que la finale est demain. So finale is tomorrow. So I hope everyone's okay. And I hope everyone's is doing great. The way I'm going to do this is pretty simple. I'm gonna give you guys my personal opinion, the way I saw this series, the good stuff that I thought was amazing or good, and I'm gonna talk about the less nice stuff. Don't worry, I'm not here to say this or this actor is not good. That's not at all what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this show from a movie maker eye. Donc, ce que je vais faire, je vais essayer de faire that Trooper's insane. Yeah, he is, man. I'm so happy to have it. I'll tell the story of this great thing that I was able to acquire probably next week or in a different podcast. I'm trying to make it a better background because I forgot to open my light, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so donc, ce que je vais faire, je vais présenter un peu chacun des épisodes d'un point de vue d'un cinéaste. Donc, je suis pas là pour blaster. Oui, c'est plus grand que ma fille, en effet. Donc, je suis pas ici pour blaster des acteurs. Je n'irai pas dire, lui, il est pas bon, ça, c'est poche, tata. C'est vraiment pour le présenter sur un point de vue de mon œil de cinéaste, de gars qui fait des films, qui a écouté des films depuis toujours. Donc, encore une fois, je ne veux pas dire que je suis un expert en quoi que ce soit. Ce que je vous donne, ce n'est que mon opinion et ma vision personnelle. As usual, I'm telling you guys that I'm not an expert. All I'm going to do is give you my point of view. From the knowledge that I have, the knowing that I have. Once again, I'm not here to bash on anyone. I'm just going to point out some different things, some good and some bad things. I got my sheets with my points that I want to talk about. Probably this might take more than an hour, so let's do this. Tu as le droit à ton opinion. Exactement. Puis, tu sais, ce que je trouve intéressant, c'est que mon opinion est une opinion de cinéaste. So, that's the thing that I find interesting is that my point of view on this is from a fan, but mostly from a movie maker. So, as most of you guys know, I did movies for for a living for the last 25, 30 years. So anyway, and no, I did not work on I did not work on any Star Wars stuff, not yet. Okay, so let's do this. Uh, uh, Once again, I'm going to try to do it in French and English the best I can. Greg Marshall. It's Kirk. It's Kirk. No, it's not Kirk. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to say it in French and in English. As usual, if I start only to talk in French, you can say, "Hey man, I don't understand a darn thing that you're saying." Je vais faire en français et en anglais. Si je commence juste à parler en anglais, il faut dire, "Hey man, je comprends absolument rien qu'est-ce que tu es en train de dire." Switch en français un peu. So feel free to bring me back on the right path. Okay, so this was a series I was expecting. Well, I don't know. I think I was more expecting or was waiting for this series more than the Boba Fett one. And Boba Fett was a little a little disappointment, not because of the acting, but like I've already said in one of the podcasts, it was more about the way the structure, the way it was presented with the flashback and stuff. Peter, I hope you're doing great, man. You dream in French. I make love in French. Uh, I think I don't. Well, I dream in French and in English because I sometimes I dream that I'm with someone that speaks English and I talk English in my dream. Anyway, that's a good question. Okay. So, yeah, like I was saying, par rapport à Boba Fett, je l'attendais, j'avais hâte de voir que ça allait être. Mais il y a eu une petite déception, puis la déception au niveau de Boba Fett, c'était plus au niveau de la structure narrative. Les flashbacks ont comme venu un peu comme faire What the fuck, qu'est-ce qui se passe, tu sais? I was going to ask that next, you see. Ask Audrey, she'll tell you. Eventually Kirk, but that's another story. um, so I was really waiting for this show, but my hopes weren't high because my hopes were pretty high for Boba Fett. So I was not disappointed, but a little so I said to myself, I'm gonna take it the way it is. It's Star Wars. I'm not here to criticize everything. Donc j'avais des expectations en français, j'avais des attentes. J'avais des attentes qui étaient peut-être moins hautes avec Obi-Wan, mais j'avais très hâte de voir c'est quoi que ça allait être. Mais bon, je m'attendais au coup, je me suis dit, ben, ça va être ce que ça va être. Puis juste le fait d'avoir Ewan McGregor back, c'était pour moi suffisant. Just the fact to have Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan, that was way enough for me. La structure narrative était longue et étirée. Voilà, les flashbacks n'amélioreraient pas. Non, parce que la structure a été faite, comme d'après moi, à l'envers. Il aurait fallu qu'il raconte la série de Boba Fett dans l'ordre avec les flashbacks. Boba Fett was a disappointment. Well, not totally a disappointment, but I'm going to bring some things from the Obi-Wan series that is the same thing that is bothering me in these Star Wars new Disney Plus show that we don't have in the Marvel ones, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's a question. It's a technical question. It's not necessarily just a way to tell the story. Okay, let's do this because we have 5 shows to go through. First of all, episode 1. Le premier, épisode 1. Comme on sait, John Williams a fait la musique de l'intro. Yeah, episode 3 for me was amazing. and I've got a lot of things to say about episode 3. So as you guys know, John Williams came back at age 82, I think now he is, and did the music for the intro, which is really nice because now we have a new little Kenobi theme, which is pretty cool. Uh, Not totally, but overall, it had some good moments. Totally agree with you. So they started with that music. It was pretty nice. Some people thought, and I thought that John Williams did the complete score on this series, but he did not. He just did the intro. Il y a beaucoup de monde, et même moi, je pensais que Williams avait fait la musique pour toute la série, mais non, j'ai malheureusement pas le nom de la fille, là, mais c'est une femme qui a fait la musique, puis elle a fait plusieurs autres bonnes musiques là, de série. Donc, on commence le premier épisode avec un espèce de flashback. We start the episode 1 with some sort of flashback. It's Order 66, and we see younglings training with a Jedi Master that we don't know that Jedi Master in particular. And it's pretty cool. It's really well presented. I love the fact that we're seeing more of this so much important moment in Star Wars history. Je suis vraiment content qu'on nous a présenté comme plus d'images de Order 66 parce que c'est cool. On a vu ce qu'il y avait dans Revenge of the Sith. We saw what happened in Revenge of the Sith, but now, since we know that there are thousands of Jedi that has been killed, now it's interesting to have a different approach or being there in another point of view. They did this with Rebels. Is it? No, it's not Rebels. They did it with Bad Batch. Ils ont fait le même principe avec Bad Batch. Là, je ne vais pas spoiler Bad Batch, mais on voit un peu aussi du Order 66 dans Bad Batch, puis c'est très intéressant. It's very interesting to have a different point of view. So, as you guys know, the younglings are they are protected by their master, and the master gets shot, and the younglings not fly, but they run away. And the shot with the Jedi Temple, with everyone being shot at and defending, great shot. So we right after that we receive a message that we are now 10 years later, and the thing that I was wondering is, we end up on Tatooine. On a une image qui dit 10 ans plus tard, on se retrouve sur Tatooine. Et ce qui m'a surpris, c'est que l'Empire contrôle vraiment tous les systèmes. The Empire controls most of the systems. But I was surprised because, as Luke says, Tatooine is the farthest point in the galaxy. It's in the Outer Rim. Well, is it? I'm not even sure. So I was surprised to see that Tatooine was not there. There were no stormtroopers in the streets. Just when the Inquisitors arrive, now they're like, "Oh my God, the Inquisitors are here." So they present the Inquisitors as badass, which is totally right. Donc j'étais surpris qu'il n'y ait pas des stormtroopers dans la rue, un peu comme on voit sur Tatooine rendu à épisode 4. Là, on va peut-être avoir plus d'explications dans la prochaine épisode. We might have more explanation in the next episode, or perhaps future seasons. And I think they did a great thing with the speech of the Grand Inquisitor in the bar, because he tells the story to everyone. Everyone now knows what they do, why they're here. How come some Jedi survive and what they do to survive. So it was something very interesting. Donc, c'était intéressant le speech que l'Inquisiteur a donné dans le bar, parce que ça donnait une présentation au public de à quoi ils servent, comment que les Jedi réussissent à survivre, etc., etc., etc. The speech is intéressant. The speech is very good. A lot of people were not happy with the Inquisitor. well, the makeup and stuff. I totally understand, but I mean, it's from cartoon to real life. It's like some people didn't like Cat Bane in the Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was great, but it's in mouth of Satan. So it's live action. So I'm now at the point that I accept what they give us. So it was okay for me. The only thing that bothered me, I think it's the voice. Je pense que le Grand Inquisitor, j'ai trouvé correct. Il ne faut pas capoter. On passe de animated series à live action. Fait que c'est normal que ça soit pas parfait. Puis tu sais, dans les. J'ai pas mon bonhomme, mais j'en ai un. J'ai le Grand Inquisitor en bonhomme, mais il est mec de même. Grand Inquisitor is like slim like this in the cartoons. So anyway. Where was I? So, okay. And what I liked also in this scene is that we learn a little more about Riva right from the start. Yeah, Cat Bane, I thought it was awesome. I mean, that's incredible. I think it at Celebration, it's not a, yeah, it's at Celebration. They showcase the mask and all the stuff. So you can look up on Google or on different sites. You're going to see the costume, but the prosthetic that the actor was wearing, great stuff. Donc, j'aime le fait aussi que là, on voit Riva qui s'impatiente. Puis on voit qu'elle pousse, tu sais, elle est fatigante, puis ça l'écœure, puis ça va pas assez vite. Puis elle veut que ça bouge, tu sais. On voit tout de suite qu'elle est déjà après quelque chose. We already see that Riva is looking for something. It's like you understand very quickly that all the sisters and the brothers they want to get at the top. You know, like they know they won't get at Vader's top, but at least they want to be under Vader. So they want to be a Grand Inquisitor. Donc tu vois tout de suite après 5 minutes qu'il y a une chicane dans les Grand Inquisitors puis ils veulent avoir la place. Right after that, we have the introduction of Obi-Wan. I thought it was an amazing introduction to show how he has become an average Tatooine citizen. Like he works, he doesn't do much. He's like, okay, I'm just doing my job. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Et donc, j'ai trouvé ça super intéressant la manière qu'ils ont introduit Obi-Wan pour démontrer qu'il est devenu un citoyen Tatooine comme tout le monde. Il fait sa job, il rentre travailler. Ça, j'ai trouvé ça super intéressant. Il y a quelque chose que j'ai remarqué tout de suite quand on a vu la scène. When we have the overshot just before we see Obi-Wan, you see like this huge whale or species that's crashed in the sand. Some people said that they are beasts from when Tatooine was underwater. But I was sure it was one of the space whales that we have been introduced in Rebels. Because if it's a beast that's been there for thousands of years before Tatooine was a sand planet and it was not covered with water, how come they are able to take out food from this beast? So technically, I was saying to myself, that's a space whale that just crashed, and they are working to save as much meat as they can. Donc, quand j'ai vu la space whale, je pensais que c'était la space whale qui avait été introduit dans Rebels. Donc, c'est ça. Parce que je me suis dit, si c'est une bébite qui est là depuis des années, avant que Tatooine soit complètement dans le sable, ben, il me semble que ça ne serait pas mangeable. Mais bon, tu sais, il ne faut pas tout le temps chercher la science. Le plus normal possible de fond, donc c'est ça. Tu sais, dans le fond aussi, ce que j'ai trouvé intéressant, c'est de montrer que la vie à Obi-Wan est plate. What I really thought was interesting is to see how Obi-Wan's life is boring. it's like it's boring. He looks bored. He's been doing this for 10 years. And can you imagine doing something that you don't really necessarily enjoy, that you have to do it? And you're like, oh my God, am I, you know? So that was a thing that I really interested. That I mean, to see him, it's like an average person. He takes the bus, well, the train, to go to work. Then he take his IOP, IOP. I think it's IOPUS, IOP, whatever. His camel guy. And the cool thing is that you understand very quickly that it's the same IOP that used in episode 3. Fait que j'ai trouvé ça intéressant de voir que c'est la même espèce de chameau, que ça fait 10 ans que c'est probablement son seul ami qu'il a, avec qui il peut comme dire j'ai résumé la job de bien du monde, tu sais. So after that, what we see, we see a funny thing. I really thought it was a great presentation where he lives. Like he lives in the caves. He doesn't live in his house like he does in episode 4. And that you have this R2 unit sensor scope that comes out and tells him if it's okay to go inside. Donc, j'ai trouvé ça super intéressant. Il vit dans une cave, dans des grottes, il est caché. Et puis, ça, j'ai trouvé ça cool. J'ai trouvé ça cool que il fasse affaire avec les Jawa. Fait qu'on on voit qu'il s'est vraiment introduit avec toute la gang qui est sur Tatooine. Le Jawa, il arrive et il vend son vaisseau. So the Jawa comes up and he got this toy. And we all recognize that it's the toy that Luke's play with in episode 4. It's a TC-46 or 47, the ship. I don't remember. And the thing that I really thought was amazing, and I think je pense que c'était voulu. I really think it was there on purpose. The Jawa sells this toy to Obi-Wan like if it's a Star Wars toy. Like, this is a really rare toy. It's a rare one. Fait que j'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant parce que le Jawa, il vend le jouet de Star Wars comme si c'était un de nos jouets de Star Wars, comme dans la communauté de collectionneurs. Parce que c'est peut-être juste moi qui ai vu ça. Perhaps I'm the only one that saw this. That it was like selling a Star Wars toy. It was pretty cool. Okay. After that, you see Obi-Wan having nightmares. So, and when he wakes up, you see that he's really like confused, not confused, but even after 10 years, he's still troubled with the past. Tu vois que même après 10 ans, il est encore troublé par le passé. Tu sais. And when he wakes up, he tries to talk to Qui-Gon. He tries to contact Qui-Gon Jinn, his old master, like Yoda said at the end of Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to learn you how to commune with Qui-Gon. Donc, on voit aussi que quand il se réveille, il essaie de parler avec Qui-Gon Jinn, son ancien maître, parce que Yoda lui avait dit, je vais te montrer comment faire. Mais ce qui est intéressant, c'est que tu réalises qu'il n'a jamais encore été capable de le rejoindre. Il n'y a jamais eu de réponse après 10 ans, puis il continue à essayer. What is interesting is that you can see that he's been trying to contact Qui-Gon for 10 years, and it never worked. Well, at least he keeps on asking, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? So I thought that's an interesting thing. Okay. After that, you can see that he goes to see Luke in the homestead. He watches Aunt Beru. We see like a fraction of a second. And Owen, and you get the drill. He's watching through the binoculars. Tu comprends qu'il est là, puis il faut qu'il check pour être sûr que tout est correct avec Luke. Ça c'est correct. Ce que j'ai trouvé un petit peu comme moins intéressant, the thing that bothered me a little, and I understand that we never really saw this point of view, but I don't recall that near as close as this, there's like a mountain where you could hide. So, like I said, we never saw like the camera on the other side filming the opposite way. We always seen the homestead on the same side. And, well, we saw it in episode 4, but there was the sand crawler. hiding perhaps that mountain that he sits on. Mais bon, point, c'est des détails. Donc, comme je dis, c'est ça, on n'a jamais vraiment vu l'espèce de montagne où c'est que Obi-Wan était assis dans les autres films. L'autre chose qui est intéressant aussi, c'est qu'on voit qu'il aide aucunement les autres Jedi. He doesn't help any Jedi that shows up on Tatooine. He tells them, leave, hide your lightsaber, get out of here. You're going to get killed. And I'm not here to help. But people, the Jedi recognize him. And he says, no, I'm Ben. I'm not Obi-Wan. So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind. He's been doing this for 10 years. Donc, il faut se souvenir que ça fait 10 ans qu'il refuse de donner de l'aide aux autres Jedi qui ont pu se présenter là. That's even more weight on his shoulder. So it's hard. Donc, c'est encore plus de poids sur ses épaules. Là, évidemment, il y a la fameuse twist de la série. There's the first twist of the series. Everyone was expecting a Obi-Wan Luke series. Tout le monde pensait que ça allait être une série Luke et Obi-Wan. Mais c'est un peu logique parce que il n'aurait pas pu vraiment introduire Vader sur Tatooine. But it's a little logical because it would be pretty hard to have Vader on Tatooine. So we have the twist that this series, at least this season, it's about Leia. And Leia is an amazing casting. The casting is great. Je pense qu'ils ont fait un méchant bon casting pour Leia. Et pour ceux qui ne savaient pas, for the ones that didn't know, is her little droid, Lola, un petit droïde Lola qu'elle a avec elle, it's based on a bird that Carrie Fisher had when she was young, at the same age. And the bird's name was Lola. So this is where it comes from. You can look it up on Google. There's a picture of Leia, Carrie Fisher, with the bird. And it's incredible how much she looks alike the kid that they cast for her. Donc, Lola est basée sur un oiseau que Carrie Fisher avait quand elle était petite à la même âge. Et il y a une photo que vous allez pouvoir trouver sur Google qui est là-dessus. Une autre chose qui est intéressante, c'est que chacun des habits que Léa porte match avec un des habits qu'elle porte plus tard dans l'épisode 4, 5, 6. So, there's another nice Easter egg, if you can say. She's wearing a costume or an uniform or whatever, some clothes that matches the clothes that she wears in episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6. You have the Bespin, well, not the same, but it looks like. I have to find that now. Yeah, look it up. It's pretty easy to find. So that's something that I saw that they matched. It's pretty cool to see Owen, the actor that plays Owen in episode 2 and episode 3 back. I think he's a great actor, and once again, it's a great casting for where we're heading. He doesn't look exactly as the same actor, but you get the same feeling from the two actors. So it was a great cast, great casting. After that, we end up back with Leia at that party that Gale makes with tons of people and part of his family. And it's cool to see that Leia take care of the droids. So you understand very quickly one thing. She's growing up with R2-D2 and C-3PO. And it's really, it's not easy to see, but we see C-3PO in the background, and we even hear his voice, Anthony Daniels' voice, and you can see that R2 is also there. But it's like a second, or a few seconds, and that's it. Just to let us know that Leia lives with R2 and C-3PO. So it gives a better understanding why she trusts R2 that much in episode 4. Donc, on voit R2, C3PO, dans le party, pas très longtemps, mais quand même on les voit. Et puis, ça explique pourquoi, justement, Léa a tellement une affection pour C3PO, surtout pour R2D2, puis qu'elle fait confiance dans l'épisode 4. Une autre partie qui est très intéressante, c'est qu'après qu'elle a comme blasté son cousin, il y a une super belle scène avec Léa, puis avec la relation qu'elle a avec son père adoptif, avec Bail Organa. There's a great scene that you can see what's their relationship with Bail and Leia. And it's a great scene. You can see the trust. You can see they trust each other. They understand each other. She's bright. He's bright. I'm not saying her mom's not bright, but you know what I mean. Donc, c'est une très, très, très belle façon d'introduire, je trouve, la relation puis l'importance qu'ils ont entre les deux. Then you get that kidnapping scene, which for me, that's once again, it's from a movie guy point of view. It looked too fake. It was. You can easily see that the actors were not running fast at all. They could have catch that actress, that baby Leia, very quickly. Donc, j'ai trouvé ça un petit peu poche parce que c'était évident que, pas tout le temps, mais c'était évident que les acteurs qui couraient après, ils allaient comme pas vite. Fait que ça m'a dérangé un peu. Puis j'ai vu un montage sur Internet, puis ils ont mis la musique de Benny Hill. Puis I saw a montage editing that they did with the Benny Hill music, and it was really funny. After that she's been kidnapped, I really enjoyed, well, not enjoyed, but I really think that there's one, any man could catch that toddler running. Yeah. So I really like, take care, Greg, man. Be safe. Be safe, Greg Marshall. So the other scene that I thought was pretty strong, intense, was when you see that they displayed the Jedi's body in the city. Donc, j'ai trouvé ça extrêmement fort, puis même tu vois que ça trouble encore Obi-Wan quand ils ont comme pendu, il n'est pas vraiment pendu, mais ça te donne l'impression qu'il est pendu dans la ville pour faire une démonstration à la population. Because this is something that we saw a lot of times in history, to remind everyone that they are not safe, they are under control. Even today, and I'm not going to say this or that, but you get the drill. Donc, ça, j'ai trouvé ça extrêmement, une image très forte. Very strong image. And then when he meets Bail and he decides to do the job, well, first he doesn't want to go, and then he accepts. I thought it was exactly like episode 4 for Luke. Luke has to be, he ends up in an adventure that he did not want to do. And this is based on the hero's journey. Donc, c'est basé sur un peu le hero's journey. Le gars qui veut pas s'impliquer dans une aventure, mais il n'a pas le choix, puis il se ramasse à être impliqué. Puis il s'en va, puis il décide d'y aller quand même. Puis c'est un peu ce qui est arrivé avec Luke dans l'épisode 4. And if you guys take the time to analyze each episode, you're going to see that they are they are like mirrors of the other Star Wars movies, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all look similar to the movies. So like this one is kind of episode 4. Okay, so now we have episode 2. We've been talking about this one for I don't know, 20 minutes. We should be okay. So, episode 2. The thing that I don't enjoy, and I talked about it earlier in another podcast, in another Vintage Kids podcast, was the fact that now that since they're making Mandalorian, they have created this new technology. If you guys did not see the making of, or you did not see any pictures or whatever, they are filming in a dome. There are screens on top of you. There are screens all around you, and on the screens you've got the decor. You've got the scenery. You can be anywhere. So the lighting is amazing on the actor. You've got the perfect lighting, and they don't have to be outside, so they can film anytime, anywhere. And what they do is in this dome. I don't remember the real name of that dome, um, but there's a name. They put some material stuff, so like boxes or dirt or little mountains or what they can put, and the volume. Yeah, that's it. I think it's the volume. So they put I don't remember how to say in English, le décor, des choses qu'ils veulent mettre sur le plancher dans ce dôme-là pour donner l'impression qu'on est dans une grotte, to give you the impression that you're in a cave. Then now they move the stuff. Now afterwards you're outside and whatever. So they prepare the ground, they prepare the setup, and but the thing that is not necessarily great about this from a movie guy point of view is it's getting you see it now. I see every shot that they do in this place, especially when they are not outside. When they're outside, they put more CG, and it looks like they're doing a great job. But when they're inside caves and they are inside, not necessarily, not in when they are in ships, they are built. The ships are partially built. Um, so sets and props, yeah, exactly. So now we end up having similar scenes. You have always like, let's say that this is the let's say this is the place that they're filming. They're gonna put some actors and stuff, props on this side and some props on this side, and the actor is gonna walk around in the middle. And yeah, so you know that it doesn't feel as real now that we know how they do it. And this is something that I thought was really, really, really redundant. I don't know, redundant, c'est redemption. No. Mais ça revient. It always comes back. And in the Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett, I thought it was too much. It's like, once again, we're in this dome, in the volume. Oh yeah, it's in the volume. But when there are outside, it's more easy to like give you a better look, and it doesn't feel like I don't see it. But sometimes for me it takes me out of the magic because I see it. It's like, okay, we're in the volume. Okay, we're shooting with side by side props with actors on each side, and the main character is moving in the middle. So it's like, okay, I understand. Okay, so that's the problem that I have technically with the show. Well, not this one. Not only this one. In Mandalorian, I did not see it as much, but in the book of Boba Fett and in this one, they are very specific scenes that it's like, oh man, okay, you know that they are in the volume. It's évident. Uh, donc, c'est ça. So that was the point that was really important for me to tell you, because I'm gonna show you guys some scenes. Well, not show you because I can't show you the scenes, but I'm gonna tell you about the scenes that, like, okay, we're in the volume, and eh. Okay. So, okay. So they arrive. Obi-Wan arrives on this new planet, and this planet is like supposed to be an homage to Japanese or Chinese Taiwan or Tokyo. I don't remember. Um, but once again, most of these scenes, it was pretty much like, okay, we're in the volume again. Uh, the first thing that I really enjoyed is that little int that they gave us with the clone that is asking for money. Uh, the actor was, of course, Tim. I'm not really good with his name. I'm going to call him Tim Morrison, and that plays Obi-Wan, that plays Boba Fett, that plays all the clones. And I really thought it was a great thing to do because it says so much. Ça dit tellement d'affaires, cette scène-là, où est-ce qu'on voit le clone qui a été à Obi-Wan. First of all, it's a 501st clone. So it's a 501st clone. If you guys don't know, 501st is the guys that take care of Vader. So when Vader in episode 3 goes inside the temple, the clones that are behind him is the 501st, and we saw the 501st in episode 1 of Obi-Wan uh, shooting on the Jedi's during Order 66. So first of all, it's a 501st clone, which is a big thing. That means that clone was with Vader in the temple. So that means that's even more heavy. So when that's donc je vais le dire en français, I'm going to say it in French. C'est un clone qui était avec Vader dans le 501e. C'est la garde rapprochée de Vader. Et ce clone-là était avec Vader quand ils ont fait Order 66 dans le temple Jedi. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire quand Obi-Wan le voit? When Obi-Wan sees this guy, you can see in his face that he understands everything that I'm just saying to you. That this guy probably killed a few Jedi, a few of his friends. But the thing is, he probably worked with him before Order 66 because Obi-Wan was a general in the Clone Wars. Donc, peut-être que même Obi-Wan a travaillé avec ce clone-là quand il était général pendant la guerre des clones. Donc, ça amène plein de points. C'est très heavy, cette scène-là. It has so much meaning and so much information in that little lapse of time. So I thought it was amazing. And the thing also that I did not mention is you understand that the Empire just flushed all the clones. They let them dry. They left them to die. L'Empire a carrément abandonné les clones qui ont travaillé pour eux autres, et on le voit là, dans Bad Batch, ils sont en train de les remplacer par des humains normaux. You can see in the Bad Batch when they say, okay, we don't need to destroy Camino and stuff. I'm not going to go through Bad Batch, but if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Another cool thing, if you didn't know, the girl that comes up to Obi-Wan and tries to sell him spice, la fille qui s'en va le voir et puis qui essaie d'y vendre des épices. If you didn't know, it's Ewan McGregor's daughter, one of her daughters. Okay, now we come up with something that I think it's not something that we could have. It's not a good part of this show. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the actor, but they introduced us to this fake Jedi. So, donc, il nous introduit à cette espèce de Jedi fake fortune teller. He's not a real Jedi. You understand right away. His name is Saja, I think. And it really feels like we're going to take this known actor that just played in Eternals, il venait de jouer dans les Eternals, and we're going to put him there for comic relief. J'ai l'impression qu'ils l'ont mis là parce que, bon, c'est un acteur connu, il était dans Eternals, puis c'est comme on va le faire des blagues, ça va être drôle. Là. C'est comme le C3PO, le Jar Jar qui vient d'arriver, puis il va être comique, lui. And I think that casting was not a good idea. Because I'm not saying he's a bad actor, not at all. I'm not saying he's not a good actor. What I'm saying is we know his face, we know this guy, and they gave him the same role that they gave him in Immortals. He's the funny guy. And for me, if I didn't knew this actor or I didn't saw Eternals, perhaps it would be like, oh, okay, that was a good idea. Mais si j'avais pas vu Eternals parce que je joue dans Eternals, peut-être ça aurait mieux passé, mais moi ça m'a fait décrocher. Puis c'est l'humour qu'il nous présente, je trouve pas ça drôle. C'est forcé, je trouve. The humor that they present with this, I don't think it's that funny. So once again, it's like it doesn't necessarily have its place. You can put humor, but not slapstick humor, like no. See, so maybe if they would have cast someone else and limited this humor, perhaps it would be a little better. But this is something that I went, I'm not sure. So once again, it's not about the actor. He's a great actor, love him. He's great in Eternals. He's great in the other stuff that he did. But I don't think it was a great idea to put him there. But the character is a great idea. L'idée du personnage est nécessaire, mais j'aurais mis quelqu'un d'autre. OK. Donc, moi, j'appelle ça du placement d'acteur. Je ne sais pas dire comment en anglais, mais bon. After that, the great thing is when Obi-Wan tries to find Leia at first, and he ends up in the meth lab. So I don't know if one of the person that is working on this series is a Breaking Bad fan, but I instantly got this Mr. White uniform with the mask and the meth lab. So I think it was like a little inside, and maybe it's because Giancarlo is in Mandalorian, but it really felt like a wink to Breaking Bad. Donc la scène quand Obi-Wan y arrive dans l'espèce de meth lab, j'ai l'impression que c'était un petit hint à Breaking Bad. Ça, j'ai trouvé ça correct. Puis l'autre affaire qui est intéressante aussi, c'est que quand il s'en va la sauver, on voit pour la première fois, il continue à mettre le fait que Obi-Wan est devenu un homme normal. Il est pas mal plus un homme normal qu'un Jedi. So they keep on pushing on the fact that Obi-Wan bleeds. Obi-Wan is more of a normal human, normal Tatooine resident than a Jedi after 10 years. And this is, I think, it's something really nice and very important in this story. After that, you can see that Reva, once again, she's like doing her own stuff. She's against the Grand Inquisitor. On voit que Reva, elle veut tenir son bout, elle veut comme sa place, elle veut bien faire. Puis je trouvais que l'idée d'envoyer le signal à tous les Bounty Hunters pour le faire sortir Obi-Wan, c'était une super bonne idée. C'est parfait. Au niveau du scénario, c'est merveilleux. So after that, Reva like sends this information and they receive it on their comlink or watch or whatever. That you have to find Obi-Wan, that he's around. So every bounty hunter starts to run around, and I think it was a great idea. It's a good thing that they did this. The thing that I also question, and once again, it's from a movie, a storytelling point of view, is that they do it more than once. Like Leia doesn't trust Obi-Wan. I understand that at first you don't trust him. Perhaps later on you don't trust him, but they don't. She doesn't trust him like a lot of times. I don't trust you anymore. Oh, I trust you. I don't trust you anymore. Oh, I trust you. Oh, I don't trust you anymore. So I thought that was a little too much. Um, Trust issue, yeah. But it was a way to bring Obi-Wan to use the Force for the first time, perhaps in 10 years. Fait que je comprends qu'ils avaient besoin d'une façon de refaire utiliser la Force à Obi-Wan parce qu'il s'en servait plus depuis plus de 10 ans. T'sais. Fait que là, ils ont fait le fait qu'elle va sauter, puis elle se sauve de lui. Yeah! Fait que ça, j'ai trouvé ça intéressant, puis c'est pour la sauver. Donc, il n'utilise pas la Force, encore une fois, pour se défendre. He doesn't use the Force to attack. He used the Force to save Leia. So, perfect reason. But once again, trust issue, a little, perhaps too many times. The cool thing, I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you are a Star Wars freak and you saw every deleted scenes from Episode 4, si vous avez vu toutes les deleted scenes épisode 4, A New Hope, il y a une deleted scene. There's a deleted scene where there's a small person that runs around in Moss Eisley streets, and he walks in between these great legs of an alien. And I think they did an homage on this scene because Leia walks between two long legs, and it's the same shot except that Leia works forward via la camera, comes in front of the camera, but in the deleted scene, the small person that runs from the camera. So, but I think it was like maybe it's just me, but as soon as I saw this in my head, I saw the deleted scene. Donc, je pense qu'ils ont fait un petit clin d'œil au deleted scene de 1977. J'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant au niveau de la scène de la fin de l'épisode 2 lorsqu'ils sont dans le transport. I really think towards the camera. Hein, j'ai besoin de toi, Michel. Là. Moi, mon anglais, là, fait que. Let me take something. So the entire scene where Obi-Wan is hiding in the transport, waiting to run away, I thought it was great. It was great because there's the reveal, there's the death of the Inquisitor. So about the death of the Inquisitor, if you saw Rebels, you know that Rebels is after this TV series. So in the timeline. Donc, si tu as vu Rebels, tu sais que dans le timeline, Rebels, c'est après Obi-Wan. Donc, même si le Grand Inquisitor se fait tuer dans la fin de l'épisode 2, tu sais qu'il va revenir. You know that he's coming back because he's in Rebels and it's the same guy. So I understand that it's like, it was not like, oh my God, she killed him. I said, oh, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. He's going to come back. So we already like understood that he would come back later on. Donc, on savait déjà que si tu avais vu Rebels, qu'il allait revenir dans la série. Il n'était pas mort. Là, et ça se pouvait pas. Là. Puis de toute façon, on a assez vite aussi compris que maintenant, quand quelqu'un meurt dans Star Wars, comme Fennec Shan, you know that now in Star Wars, when someone dies, they only fix it up like Fennec, and it's back. I'm brand new. Hello, I'm a robot now. Anyway. So I thought it was a great scene in this transport and the super scene, the scene that really was amazing is when Obi-Wan says, Anakin through the Force, and Vader, Anakin hear Obi-Wan. Donc, Anakin entend à travers la Force la voix d'Obi-Wan qui dit son nom, puis il se réveille dans le back de tank. Super shot. Great shot. Episode 3. We're gonna do this, guys. One down. Okay. So episode 3. We have this amazing intro of Vader. which is something that's very cool because we never saw Vader getting pieced up. On n'avait jamais vu Vader se faire ramasser. Ça, on peut voir. On était habitué qu'on peut voir Vader comme ça. We used to see Vader in full armor, but now we could see Vader like in parts and pieces. So that was an amazing scene. And once again, it's the fact that Obi-Wan thinks about Anakin, and you can see Anakin in this back to tank getting ready to. He gets in his suit, and everyone is like, "Does he pee in his suit? Est-ce qu'il pisse dans son suit parce qu'il doit pas l'enlever souvent?" But now we know that he takes the suits out more than just the helmet, like we saw in Empire Strikes Back. Donc on voit qu'il enlève son suit plus que juste le casque dans Empire Strikes Back. Une autre affaire que j'ai trouvé vraiment intéressante, c'est que une des choses qu'on apprend avec le temps, c'est que les Sith vont chercher leur colère avec la douleur. So the thing that we learned in the past years is the fact that the Sith use their pain to like be even more mad, and their power are drained from this pain that they got. And when the chest plate is put on Anakin, you can see that there are spikes about that long that goes inside his chest. So it's probably a little painful. So that's a good thing that I saw. The great thing also that I really think that they did an amazing job is the fact that they brought back the original voice of James Earl Jones for Vader. They did it for Rogue One, but you have to keep in mind that James Earl Jones is now 91 years old. James Earl Jones a 91 ans. Fait qu'ils ont ramené la voix originale de Vader, mais à 91 ans, on le voit dans Rogue One. Sa voix n'est pas tout à fait comme elle était. Elle faiblotte un petit peu, tu sais. In Rogue One, the voice is not as clear as we used to hear from Vader. And for this show, what they did, they used a application. They use a computer to create every line that Vader says in the show. So you have this perfect Darth Vader voice in every word that he used, everything. It's based on what they used before. So the computer generates the speech, everything that he says. Donc, c'est une application qui crée toutes les voix, toutes les lignes que Vader il dit. Donc, on a une affaire parfaite qui sonne vraiment comme on a entendu dans l'épisode 4, 5, 6. C'est parfait. Fait que ça, c'est le petit côté James Earl Jones, je trouve vraiment intéressant. C'est très bien réussi. Well done. And of course, the famous Lola, the little robot that is always with Leia. As soon as I saw it at first in episode 1, I was like, okay, we're going to sell toys. And 5 minutes after episode 1 was out, there was like, I think there's now 3 or 4 different Lola that you can purchase. One that talks, one that moves, one that cleans your clothes or whatever. So I totally understand, but once again, toys. But that's when Obi-Wan ends up in the desert and walks with Leia. I really thought it was a good thing that they put up this sort of hallucination of ils ont fait la même chose pour Mark Hamill. They did. J'ai vraiment trouvé ça intéressant quand Obi-Wan il hallucine Anakin en Jedi, pas en Darth Vader, il le voit en Jedi au loin, puis tu vois qu'il buzz. It was a great thing to show that not Vader, but Obi-Wan saw Anakin in the distance, in the plains, and in the desert. Like, am I tripping? Did I took too much blue milk? So once again, it shows that Anakin is playing with Obi-Wan's head, but once again, they show that Obi-Wan is becoming even more a man, old and a little more weak, whatever. Okay, where was I? Next page. Uh, the thing that bothered me a little is the fact, but once again, it's perhaps just to show that he has become an older man and less of a Jedi, is the fact that he's really impatient with Leia. Une chose qui m'a un peu dérangé, c'est qu'il est extrêmement impatient avec Leia. Il chiale après, puis là, tu comprends rien, tu sais. So I thought it was a bit too much. Because he doesn't even like thinks about that. He just like he gets mad, and I never thought that I could have seen Obi-Wan get mad over a kid. So was it for us to understand that he's once again not losing it, but like he's not a Jedi anymore? He's like more a real person, perhaps. Uh, yeah. So I think I've got the wrong page. Just a second. I think I did a little mistake in my six. That's correct. That's correct. Ça c'est cinq. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. There you go. Okay, sorry. So after that, we end up at this fortress in the water. This fortress that we've already seen in Jedi Fallen Order, which is a Star Wars game. Donc, on se ramasse à la fameuse forteresse où est-ce qu'on a déjà vu cette forteresse-là, exactement la même dans Jedi Fallen Order. Et ce que j'ai pas trippé, c'est que il y a beaucoup de CGI qui faisait dur. There's a lot of CGI, especially on the shot where it's the huge place with the windows and stuff. The CGI was like, what's wrong with this shot? It was like bad blue screen, or I don't know, something was really wrong. Once again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. All I'm saying is visually there was something that caught my eyes and said, ça marche pas, there's something wrong. Quand ils rentrent dans la fameuse salle où c'est que c'est comme le meeting room, when they get in the meeting room where all the Inquisitors are, they did something pretty cool and pretty like heavy. You can see all around them, there's a clear red place, like a red tissue, and at every whatever 5 inches or there's a lightsaber. So there's tons of lightsabers all around this room, and there's even helmets from younglings from Order 66 that were in the temple. They are exposing them in their meeting room, which is pretty creepy. So that's something that I really think is great in this show. They show how much the Empire is vicious. Donc, c'est une des choses que je trouve intéressantes, c'est que dans ce show-là, là, puis on va le voir dans d'autres épisodes, il montre à quel point que l'Empire est vraiment comme violent. Là, on n'avait pas nécessairement vu ça encore, à quel point ils sont fuckés. C'est très macabre. C'est ça que j'avais écrit. Là, ensuite de ça, tu as Reva qui arrive et qui dit envoyez les probe droids. So Reva shows up. I just talked to Vader and send out the probe droids. Okay, so they send out 3 probe droids that you can see that, okay, they fly out just like in Empire Strikes Back. But I got a question. Is one of these probe droids probe droids is the one that scanned Obi-Wan when they got caught. It's not clear. We don't know where. We never saw the probe droid arrive in on any planet. And let's say that the one that scans Obi-Wan, it's one of the three. But where did the other two go? So that was like, what's going on? Perhaps we're going to see one on Tatooine. I don't know. Maybe. So that was like something. What's going on with this? Okay. Good job avec l'histoire de Ben, Leia, and me. Oh yeah. The next great scene is when they are sitting on the back of this pickup truck that flies with the guy with the mouth like blah, 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 blah. They get a lift from this guy, and the stormtroopers sit down with them, and there's a great scene where Ben tells this story. It's not the real story of Leia, but you understand that he's talking about Padme. He's talking about her mom, and you can see that in Leia's eyes. She understands that he is trustworthy. Donc, on voit que dans les yeux de Léa, c'est là que le déclic se fait. Puis elle dit, tabarouette, je pense que je peux lui faire confiance à ce gars-là. Puis là, en plus de ça, Leia lui demande, t'es-tu mon père? And Leia asks, are you my dad? And I'm pretty sure that Obi-Wan said, well, I would have loved to. Mais bon, c'est pas arrivé. So I think that's a great scene. So there's so many scenes in these kinds of series that I understand that some perhaps are like, that's weak, but there are little gems. Il y a des perles qui sont placées dans ces séries-là. It's amazing to watch. Great acting, great idea, great connection between actors. And that was a great scene. I think it was a really well done, really well played. Okay. 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 Now we stop at this famous laser beam post. I don't know how to call it. And a lot of people were saying, "What the hell is that scene about?" Because I totally understand with the car or with the flying thing, you cannot go through these ray beam or laser beams because, as you saw, the stormtrooper was cut in half. Donc, je peux comprendre, tu sais, le char peut pas passer à travers les lasers parce qu'on a vu que le stormtrooper il tombe dessus et il se fait couper en deux. But the thing is that they decide to walk to keep the walking, and the laser are still there. And Obi-Wan goes on the panel and push the buttons like, but nothing works. Like the laser is staying there. So he ends up shooting with his blaster on this panel, and the laser are out. And everyone was asking, why don't you just walk three meters and walked around it? And I totally asked myself the same question. So personally, that's a mistake. That's a mistake that was. Did they forgot to put more buildings in CGI so you would show that no one can go through and this is the only way? It was evident. There's even a shot from the top that showed that they would have walked on the sides. So you don't have to close the laser beams unless you want to put the car, go with the car. Anyway, so that was a little mistake. Fait qu'il y avait une petite erreur. Pourquoi ils n'ont pas fait le tour du poteau? Pourquoi ils n'ont pas rajouté en CGI plus de buildings pour montrer que c'était pas possible de passer nulle part ailleurs que par là? Mais bon, c'est shit happens. Okay, family repose. So after that, they meet with this girl. She's an Empire employee, but she helps Jedi, and that's okay. You learn that later on. She saw some. It's like the same story that happened to Finn in Episode 7. He got like a wake up call when he had to kill some people and it was wrong. So he's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Fait que c'est un peu la même histoire que Finn dans l'épisode 7 qui arrive à cette demoiselle qui les aide. On apprend après ça par rapport au path, the path, like the secret chamber in the shop where there's writing of all kinds of good things and names of the Jedi that are there. That's very interesting because it's something that really exists in our history. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui est un peu, se sont servis de notre vraie histoire parce que ça existait, que ça existe probablement encore. Les réfugiés qui sont obligés de se cacher puis de passer pour pas se faire attraper puis tout ça, puis qui écrivaient des messages sur les murs puis ils mettaient leur nom pour dire qu'un tel a passé, peut-être quelqu'un de la famille va le voir quand eux autres aussi vont passer puis ils vont savoir que je suis en vie. So I thought it was a great idea. It's a great idea to use the path. Great names, and this is something they're doing more and more and more, and I'm pretty sure it's because of Favreau and I forgot his name, Wolfman. You know the guy. These guys love the EU, the expanded universe that Disney said that's no good anymore when they purchased Lucasfilm from Lucas. So in this huge lots, the huge names of the Jedi that we saw, there's many of the Jedi. Filoni, thank you, Dave, exactly. See, my brain doesn't work very good every day. I forget things. Donc, Dave Filoni et Favreau qui y ont ramené probablement justement de plus en plus des personnages du EU, l'Expanded Universe. We know that we're going to see Tron in Ahsoka Tano TV series. On sait qu'on va voir Tron dans Ahsoka. This is directly from the EU. And one that was written that Obi-Wan talks more about is Quinlan Vos. And Quinlan is a Jedi that we saw very briefly in episode 1. It was sitting down in one of the restaurants or whatever when Qui-Gon walks through with Padme. And there was supposed to be something that was supposed to come out during Clone Wars where Asajj Ventress would fall in love with Quinlan Vos, but it did not happen because once Disney purchased Star Wars from Lucas, they decided to stop Clone Wars. And it was supposed to introduce Quinlan Vos. So perhaps Quinlan will be in the next episode or in more seasons. We'll see. So they call it the path, where the Jedi are the people that will be saved. They can use this path and they'll be okay. And something that I find interesting is that Obi-Wan talks about the path, but he also mentioned the way. Donc, ce que je trouve intéressant, c'est qu'il dit aussi, Obi-Wan, pas juste le path, mais il dit the way. Il dit pas this is the way, but the way. So, are we talking about the same way that we learn in Mandalorian? I don't know. That's not clear. But perhaps it is. Perhaps the way is something that you can connect with the Jedi and the Mandalorians. So I thought that was something interesting. After that, we have Vader that arrives, and that's an amazing scene. And for the first time, Vader y arrive. Et pour la première fois, we see Vader, how cruel he can be, how crazy he has become. On voit à quel point Vader a complètement perdu la map. Il est complètement enragé. Puis il sait comment faire sortir Obi-Wan de là. He knows what to do to make Obi-Wan get out of his hiding, because he kills people, he tortures people. When he drags the people on the floor, in the dirt, he breaks the neck of this kid with the Force because he's holding his dad in the air. This is something we never saw with Darth Vader, and it's except in Rogue One, and I think everyone was crazy about this great shot in Rogue One. Je pense que tout le monde a trippé sur la shot du corridor de Rogue One parce que c'était la première fois qu'on voyait Vader en Chris. It was the first time that we saw Vader mad, really, and what he could do with his lightsaber, with the Force, how strong he is. And I think that they took what they saw or what they did in Rogue One and like, okay, let's bring the Vader out. Like, Vader is crazy powerful and crazy psychopath. I don't care if I kill, I don't care who I kill. What I want is my goal, and it's Kenobi. Fait il tue n'importe qui, c'est comme un psychopathe, un tueur en série, il s'en fout. Il n'y a pas d'émotion quand il tue quelqu'un. Fait que ça on l'avait pas vu encore. À part quand il tue ses... Well, on l'a vu. We saw it in the movies because he kills the officers, Imperial officers, but to kill like innocent people like that, yeah, he did it in Order 66, but in the Vader suit, it was pretty impressive. And it's interesting also the fact that you can see how Obi-Wan reacts. He doesn't feel good. It's like, oh my God, it's like I've just eaten 8 Big Macs and I don't feel really good because Vader's there. He can sense his presence and it's heavy. It's like, oh God, I don't feel good at all. Fait que c'est vraiment intéressant de montrer à quel point que ça l'affecte, puis il sent sa présence à travers la force, puis c'est comme, oh man, c'est comme si j'avais mangé 8 Big Mac, puis je file vraiment pas. Fait que ça, j'ai trouvé ça intéressant. And of course, there's this confrontation at first. Obi-Wan runs out, he tries to get away. But the best line so far, I think, of this series, la meilleure scène, la meilleure phrase, en tout cas, qui est sortie à date de toute la série et qui va rester, je crois, dans l'univers de Star Wars pour l'éternité. Obi-Wan's asked Vader, well, he asked Anakin, what have you become? And Vader replies, I am what you made me. That was a great, great, great line. I think, yeah, like I said, I think this line is going to be a new epic Star Wars line. You are what you made me. C'est la meilleure phrase à date qui est sortie de la série. Ça va rester. Donc, on voit aussi la puissance de Vader. We can see how powerful Vader is because he fights Obi-Wan with one hand, like it's nothing. Keep in mind that he got robotic hands, but because of Obi-Wan, well, at least one, on voit à quel point il est fort, puis Vader fait juste se défendre puis attaquer avec un bras, tandis que Obi-Wan, il est là, puis il fait comme, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Tu es en train de me faire sacrer une volée, il est donc bien fort. Il pousse avec la force, tu vois qu'il est aucunement de taille, tu vois à quel point il n'est pas de taille pour une scène, Obi-Wan. Pas juste le fait que ça fait 10 ans qu'il ne s'est pas nécessairement battu avec son sabre laser et tout, mais il se bat contre une machine, il se bat pas contre un homme. Puis la machine, c'est pas un probe droid, c'est pas un battle droid. So he's not fighting in the Clone Wars against butter droids that they used to say, like, vroom, vroom, okay, on a passe à travers. Next. You can see that he's strong. Perhaps he fought with General Grievous, but Vader is a lot more stronger than Grievous. Anyway, that's what I think. Okay, best line. And after that, Reva finds the path. She ends up finding this place where Obi-Wan was with Leia, and I think her reaction start to tell a different story about the character. Yes, you understand that she gets mad. Yes, you understand that she wants to get the best place. She wants to become the Grand Inquisitor, but she gets mad to see all the names of the Jedi. She get mad when she sees the Jedi logo, the image, the emblem. Donc, tu vois qu'elle perd la map un peu d'une façon très étrange quand elle voit tous les noms des Jedi écrits sur le mur, puis elle voit aussi l'emblème des Jedi. Fait que ça fait comme, OK, attends, there's something there. And it was like, it's obvious there's something wrong. Sorry. And then, great scene. Vader ends up catching up with Obi-Wan. Donc, Vader réussit à rejoindre Obi-Wan. Et la fameuse scène, with the Force, he brings him in the air and strangle him, and he loses a lightsaber. And with Vader's lightsaber, he start to burn stuff on the floor. I don't remember what it's coil or I don't know. And he takes Obi-Wan and throw him in the fire. And that's a great shot. Donc, quand Vader a réussi à attraper Obi-Wan, et puis il prend, il l'amène dans les airs, il l'étrangle, il fait perdre son sabre laser, puis il prend, puis il met le feu à terre, puis il dompe Vader, et il dompe Obi-Wan dans le feu, puis il le traîne dans le feu. Fait que ça, c'est vraiment intéressant parce qu'il lui dit même, Vader even say to Obi-Wan, your pain is only, it's only the beginning of your pain. Like, he wants to torture the guy. Like, he doesn't want to kill him. He wants to play with him and make him suffer. Donc, c'est très intéressant de voir à quel point que il veut se venger. He really wants his revenge. As a Sith one, not a Jedi. Donc, il veut vraiment une vengeance contre Obi-Wan pour se venger de ce qui est arrivé. Il lui en veut tellement. Il en voulait même dans l'épisode 2 avant qu'il tourne vraiment du côté obscur. Mais bon. Fait que cette scène-là est extrêmement intéressante. Puis, une chose qui est intéressante aussi, c'est qu'ils ont pris le même son audio que Anakin pendant qu'il brûle. So what they did, and I really invite you to go back and listen, but they used the same audio sound of Aiden Christensen burning. It's not Obi-Wan's voice. They used this little, like, few seconds, and it's not Obi-Wan. It's Anakin that you can hear. It's the same audio file. So I thought that was wow, okay, did I just dream that? Or no, they are, once again, repeating the history. Ils font il refait tellement la même scène pour le faire souffrir dans le feu qu'ils ont même pris la peine de mettre le même son que dans Revenge of the Sith quand Anakin est en train de brûler. Je vous invite vraiment à aller voir ça. Quand il est dans le feu, Obi-Wan, t'entends le son, peut-être pas en français, perhaps not in French, but in the original version, in English, it's the same sound. That's great. For me, that's great work. That someone thought about that. We're going to use the same audio sound. Good idea. Great idea. So he wants to take his revenge. Something happened also is when they come and save Obi-Wan from Vader and the stormtroopers, the fire starts up again, and Vader just stands there and he watches and he doesn't do anything. So why is that? Is it because, I mean, if a guy would burn completely his body, I would have think that the suit would protect. Well, the first thing he would ask is the suit fireproof? You know? So, ça me semble la première affaire que Vader demanderait, c'est de s'assurer que son suit est fireproof. Mais il va pas marcher dans le feu. He doesn't go through the fire and try to stop them. So why is that? Is it part of his plan, perhaps? Or is it because he is afraid of the fire? That might be one of the reasons. Even if the suit can protect him, he doesn't want to go through fire again because it was traumatic incident in his mind. Donc, est-ce que c'est parce qu'il avait peur? Est-ce que c'est parce que justement, il y a comme une crainte énorme du feu? Puis ça pourrait être quelque chose d'intéressant qu'on n'a jamais vu de Vader. It's something that we would have never seen from Vader. He's afraid of fire, which would be logical. And there's this amazing shot of the fire, the reflection of the fire in the mask, on the mask, not in, and on the eyes. You can see the flames in the eyes of Vader. That's an amazing shot. What a great shot of this series. So, episode 4. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost done. The episode 4 starts in the Bacta tank. They are both in the Bacta tank, and through the Force, they can like feel one another. Vader like reacts to what happened, reacts to Obi-Wan's pain. Maybe it's because he can feel his pain through the Force, and he's happy about it. And the good thing that what they did, they brought back the original tank that we used to see in Empire Strikes Back. On est revenu avec le tank on voyait dans l'Empire contre-attaque, et non pas la tank de luxe de Boba Fett. The one in the book of Boba Fett, it's like deluxe tank, and like taken up, my friend. It's like perfect. It's like, but now they brought back the old used feel of Star Wars equipment. Donc, ils ont ramené un peu le feeling du vieux stock qu'on avait dans Star Wars. Parce que la Bacta Tank de Boba Fett, c'est comme Bacta Tank 3000. Tu sais, ça a l'air comme super de luxe. Tu sais. It looks really like luxurious. Okay. When Obi-Wan gets out of the tank and he meets with this guy, I don't remember his name, on Jabim. And the cool thing is this guy recognized Obi-Wan and he calls him General. So the first time in the series that I don't know if Bail called him General. I don't think that Bail or Organa call him General, but it's interesting to see that this guy knows Obi-Wan as a general and not as just a Jedi or just a Jedi Master. He knows that he worked, he was in the Clone Wars as a general. Donc, j'ai trouvé ça intéressant que le gars sur Jabim prenne le temps d'appeler, prenne le temps, il l'appelle littéralement General Kenobi and not just Ben or Obi-Wan or Jedi Master or whatever. Donc, ça, c'est intéressant. Ça ramène un peu tout ce qu'on a vu dans les Clone Wars animated series. Donc, it brings back everything that we saw in the Clone Wars series and episode 3, of course. Also, something that they are doing really well in this show is that they tell us how crazy is the Empire. Like I said earlier, everyone is telling a little story of what they lived. Hello there. They tell their stories, and you understand really quickly that everyone that survived the Empire lost someone. So once again, it's the same thing as our own histories. You can see that you can relate to what they're living through because it's not something out of nowhere. Humanity went through this kind of craziness and is still going through with this craziness in Ukraine. Donc, on voit que c'est basé vraiment sur quelque chose qu'on peut comprendre facilement, parce que we can relate. On peut se souvenir et on voit que ça existe aussi encore dans l'humanité. Des gens qui font face à des dictateurs, qui font face à des empires, puis qui ont perdu leur famille, qui ont été torturés, etc. Fait que ça, c'est intéressant. Donc, c'est ça. Uh, this craziness of the Empire, this uh, savage way or cruel way that they are using, we never saw it in the movies, except when they blow up Alderaan. I totally understand that's crazy, but we never saw, once again, like I said, torturing people, except for Han Solo, but innocent people. So it's really the first time that you hear how bad the Emperor, not the Emperor, the Empire is. So that's a good thing that they did. Da, 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 da. Okay, so you can see that Obi-Wan tries to connect again with the Force. He tries to move things around, and it's like you can see it's like someone that did not play guitar for a long time. You have to sit down or play drums. You have to sit down and play to get back at some level that you can be a drummer or be a guitarist or whatever. So that's something that we did not know in Star Wars universe. If you don't use the Force every day or you don't practice, you lose that facility, cette facilité, that ease that you have as a Jedi to use the Force. Donc, on voit que si tu n'utilises pas la Force à tous les jours, ce qu'on comprend, c'est que tu perds un peu la touch. Puis il faut que tu te pratiques parce qu'on voit qu'Obi-Wan, il l'a plus. Il a besoin de se pratiquer. So it's like if he would take his guitar in the ship and oh, okay, and he practiced. So that's something that we did not know. Well, I didn't know in the Star Wars universe that if you don't use the Force often, uh, you're going to lose your skill, your skills. Tu vas perdre ta facilité avec la force. La connexion sera plus aussi simple. Bon, c'est parce que... ensuite de ça, bon, Obi-Wan se fait apporter en dessous. Là, on voit pas où est-ce qu'ils l'ont déposé, mais he end up in the water, going inside the fortress. And this is something directly out of Jedi Fallen Order. They're at the same place. The main character in Fallen Order do the same thing. And also, when they bring Leia to this torture room, it's the same torture room that you see in Jedi Fallen Order. So, if you did not play Jedi Fallen Order, it's okay. It's like, oh, it's a brand new world, new site in Star Wars, but it's not. It's all something that already exists in Jedi Fallen Order, and it's okay. It's a great, great game. It's a great site. They did a great job, but it already exists. Right before Leia is brought to the torture room, juste avant que Leia se fait amener la chambre des tortures. Ouh! Tu vois, Riva essaie de lire dans la tête de Leia. So Riva tries to read Leia's mind. And it's the same scene that you have in episode 7 when Kylo Ren tries to read Rey's mind. And it's the first time at this age, at least at this age, that you can see that you understand that Leia is a Force sensitive kid, because we know that all the way through Return of the Jedi, she doesn't know she can use the Force. She doesn't know she's a Skywalker. Donc, jusqu'à Retour du Jedi, on sait que quand elle arrive à 18, 19 ans ou 20 ans, c'est Luke qui lui dit qu'elle peut utiliser la Force. She doesn't know about it. So it's interesting to see that at this young age, she doesn't know, but the Force is already there inside of her, protecting her, and she doesn't know about it. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to include there. OK, pour la première fois, son identité revient souvent. Ouais, une des phrases qui revient souvent dans l'épisode, c'est Let me see some identification. And of course, it's a line from episode 4. That's the line that we hear a lot of time in this series. Uh, and another thing, they also use the same comlink that they use in episode 4 when C3PO talks with Luke. Ils utilisent le même comlink, le petit blanc avec la même shape, pour parler avec, je me souviens plus de son nom de la fille, avec Obi-Wan. Puis elle le dépose même sur le petit comptoir. She even puts it on the counter. And it's the same shot when Luke tries to communicate with C3PO. C'est la même shot que quand elle essaie de communiquer, Luke essaie de communiquer avec C3PO, puis que C3PO l'a laissé sur le comptoir. Fait que ça aussi, c'est un petit clin d'œil à épisode 4. Chambre des tortures, c'est la même, on vous l'a dit tantôt. Et finalement, Obi-Wan ends up in this basement where they are full of Jedi and even perhaps just force sensitive persons, because I'm pretty sure that some of the characters that are in there are not necessarily Jedi, but they might be force sensitive, so they might not even know that they can use the force. But it was pretty interesting to see a few of the people that were there. One of them was really specific. It's one from the Clone Wars. It's an old teacher that learns the Padawans to build their lightsaber. Um, oh no, I'm mistaking with a robot. Anyway, there's this Jedi. I don't know his name. That is in Clone Wars. That's one that's 100% sure it's the same one. The other one, we're not sure. Some people thought that they saw Quinlan Voss because he really looks alike, but if he leaves stuff in the path, perhaps he's not. They did not cut him yet. Donc, il y a du monde qui pensait qu'il y avait Quinlan Voss. Il y a du monde. Il y avait un autre Jedi qu'on a vu dans Clone Wars, dans la série animée. Ensuite de ça, Ben retrouve un peu ses aptitudes avec son sable laser. On voit que là, tout d'un coup, il recommence à jouer de la guitare et du drum. Il retrouve un peu de facilité à se défendre contre les Stormtroopers. So he starts to use the force to deflect the shots from the blasters. And you can see that more and more he gets a better drummer again with the force. So slowly but surely he's getting there. Another thing is that is inside the Fallen Jedi Order movie, not movie but game. When Obi-Wan holds the glass with holds the water, Darth Vader do the same thing, exact same thing. It's not necessarily at the same place, but he does the exact same thing in Jedi Fallen Order. He holds the water outside from the glass to blow up with the Force. After that, you have Leia that hides in Obi-Wan's coat. Après ça, on a comme Obi-Wan qui cache Leia dans son suit. Puis là, c'est comme, what the... C'est comme, je peux pas croire qu'il n'y a pas personne qui s'est rendu compte. On dirait qu'il marche sur un enfant. Là. C'est évident. So once again, that's something like it's perhaps it would have been a great idea to think of something else. And in this shot, to make it worse, they walk through this gigantic space that you can see that CGI is not really good. And it looks like they did it really quickly. C'est comme s'ils ont fait cette shot-là vraiment vite. Because when you take the time to watch the Stormtrooper walk in this big space, I think there's 3 or 4 Stormtroopers are walking by Obi-Wan and Leia, and they're heading like nowhere. If they keep on walking, they are heading right to the window. They're like, are they going to watch fishes? Oh, look, nice fish. So it doesn't make sense. So visually, that's something like I said, where are they going? They're heading towards the window. Make them walk somewhere else that you like. Why are they going there? Fait qu'on voyait des Stormtroopers qui s'en allaient comme directement dans une vitre. Genre, OK, on s'en va voir la vitre. Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Fait qu'on dirait vraiment que la shot a été faite comme rapidement et puis mal. Fait que ça fait comme il y a un petit problème, tu sais. Non. Fait que tu sais, c'est comme encore une fois, c'est ça, ça nous porte à nous demander, are they rushed to present these episodes and they start to turn corners like round? And anyway, I'm going to talk about another one in episode 5 that is, I thought it was two other shots that are very terrible. Anyway, so afterwards they escape with the snow speeders. Uh, Once again, CGI was okay. I love the fact that when the snow speeder lands, it's the same gear that you have on the toys, and like it makes full sparks. Il y a comme des sparks qui sortent partout sur les qui sortent sur le dessus de la chose qui est atterri dessus sur justement sur le snow speeder en dessous. Puis il est pareil comme sur nos jouets qu'on avait. Ça, je trouve ça quand même intéressant. Right after that, they escape. Vader storms in the room, and this is something. Quand tu l'as dit, ça sonne comme Yves Corbeil. Tu sais qu'Yves Corbeil a fait la voix de l'empereur en version québécoise dans l'épisode 2 et 3, même 1, je pense. J'avais quasiment peur qu'il nous offre une poule ou l'œuf. Mais bon, c'est pas moi qui décide. So when Obi-Wan and Leia are escaped, right after that, you've got Vader that storms into a room. And I think it's the first time that we saw Vader walk that fast. Donc, on voit tout de suite Vader qui passe, il rentre quasiment en courant dans la salle, puis il est en maudit. Mais je pense que c'est vraiment la première fois qu'on voit Vader marcher aussi vite. We are used to see like Vader standing, walking really slowly, but in this shot, he's mad and he's walking fast, and that's something we never see. I think. Fait que ça, c'est pour épisode 4. That was for episode 5. Only one left. We're almost done. Episode 5. We start with this great flashback scene. On commence avec un super flashback, bien placé, well placed. And this flashback will be useful all the way through episode 5. So that's the right way to use a flashback, not like necessarily what they did in Boba Fett. So this is a great flashback, and it's really fun to see a new scene from Attack of the Clones. So you know that it's perhaps, I think it's right before, or maybe it's probably before, because when we see Anakin looking at the skyscraper in Coruscant, he's looking at the building where Padme is. She's in this building. It's the first building that we see. It's the same one. So perhaps it's just before they head to see Padme in episode 2, maybe. So it was fun to have them back in their old costume. They did an okay job with the facial thing to make them look a little younger. Of course, the wrinkles were still present in Anakin's face. That's okay. I mean, I'm not going to complain. And it's a great duel. They fight with great style. They have great movement. It was really nice. So it also add a lot of information on Anakin that we did not get in Revenge of the Sith. So the way that he gets mad, the way that he uses not necessarily the Force, but his anger, he wants to win, and that's all great information. Not only for this series, it's good for the character overall, which is pretty nice. Donc, on apprend des nouvelles affaires sur Anakin. Quand il sert comme la force, mais il vient enragé, puis il veut absolument gagner. Ça vient rajouter des affaires, pas juste à la série, mais au personnage de Vader et d'Anakin. Ça nous aide à mieux le comprendre, même maintenant qu'on repense au film qui a déjà été sorti. Donc, lorsque Obi-Wan et Leia arrivent au parc, à la fameuse place où que tout le monde est comme, on va appeler ça le camp de réfugiés. When they come back with Leia and Obi-Wan at this like refugee camp, which is the path, once again, it was obvious for me that they were shooting it in the volume, the famous dome, and that's something I was like, they could have done a better job for certain shots. It was, once again, it was obvious that they put up stuff right here, some there, and people were filming right here. And the dome is all around us. So it was obvious for me. Not for necessarily everyone, but for me, it takes me out of the narrative. It's like, it reminds me that it's not real. You know what I'm saying? There's a cool scene where Vader is heading over there, and you can see by what he tells Reva that he doesn't care about the other people that are there. On voit à quel point Vader, il s'en fout du monde. Comme je disais, il est vraiment rendu un psychopathe. Il n'y a pas d'émotion pour les gens qui sont là. There's no emotion for the people that are there. He only have one goal. Il y a juste un but, c'est d'aller chercher Obi-Wan. Et ça prendra ce que ça prendra. On tuera qui ça prendra. On va se rendre jusqu'à là-bas. Okay. So yeah, like I said, it's Jabim. Well, the place where they are, it really looks like a refugee camp, and this is cool. This is a great. Once again, we can relate to this. We understand what it is. It's not something like a new species of extraterrestrial that, oh, what the hell is this? Nice. You can relate. You know that it exists in the real world. So you can totally understand that it can exist in the Star Wars universe. Très bonne référence. Something that was also really great that they thought of doing is there's more writing on the walls. Il y a plus d'écriture sur les murs. More names, more phrases, more messages. Il y a plus de messages, tout ça. Mais une des choses qui est vraiment intéressante, c'est qu'il y a la boîte avec toutes les sabres laser. There's this box with the Jedi lightsabers that they're there to prove that it's like a rite de passage. I don't know what to say in English, but you go there, you leave something to start something new. So you have to leave something behind to start something new. So I thought that was a great idea. And you can see that Obi-Wan gets a little emotional when he picks up some of the lightsabers. Tu vois que ça vient un petit peu chercher justement Obi-Wan par rapport à ça. C'est un symbole très fort. I saw on the internet that Lola, the famous droid, the little droid, Leia's droid, is basically the same little robots that they use in the movie Batteries Not Included back in the 80s. Il y a un film qui est sorti qui s'appelait Batteries Non Comprises, Batteries Not Included. Puis c'était des petits robots qui volaient. And if you take the time to go check that trailer or whatever, the images from this movie, you're going to see that Lola is almost 100% similar to these little robots in this movie. So once again, is it a nod to un hommage? C'est un hommage qu'ils ont fait par rapport à ça? Ou c'est juste une coïncidence? Ça se peut fort bien, on ne sait pas. we go back and forth to the real time and to this flashback, and it's really nice to see that there's a lot of aggression. There's a lot of anger in Anakin when he fights. Um, Afterwards, you've got Vader arrives and he sends the stormtroopers with in front of this door. So they locked himself up. Vader locked the top with Lola, and the door is closed. And I think that's one of the worst shots that they did, uh, probably in the volume in the dome, because you can see clearly that there's sand on the floor and that the stormtroopers walk in front of the door, but everything around them except for the door looks very, very, very fake. And once again, this is something that I saw immediately and said, "What? This is really that's poorly made." I was surprised to see how. I mean, you can watch any other movies or any other series, take the time to make sure that it looks real. For this shot, go back and see it. For me, it really looked, the CGI looked like in the 1990s. It was obvious that it was in the dome, in the volume. So this shot, I thought, was probably the worst so far, with the famous huge room. Those two shots, they really need to uh, work a little more on these, because, like I said, it takes you out of the narrative. It's like it reminds you that it's fake, and you don't necessarily get this in other like Marvel universe series that I also watch. Anyway, so that was a really bad CGI or really bad volume shot. Uh, and when Riva arrives, when the ship of Riva arrives, it's the exact same shot that they did when Moff Gideon arrives in Mandalorian at the end of season one. It's the same shot, except that Moff Gideon arrives in his TIE fighter, and it's the same thing. The stormtroopers are all there. The ship arrives on the back, and when she comes out, every stormtrooper opens up a line. He goes in front and starts to talk. So, once again, is it an homage, or is it like, let's use the same shit that we did for Mandalorian? It worked. So, it not necessarily bothered me, but I immediately I saw that that's the same shot from Mandalorian, except that they it's not the same character. It's not the same. It's the same situation. You have the heroes stuck inside somewhere, and they have to put them out. Fait que c'est la même shot que dans la fin de la saison 1 de Mandalorian. C'est la même affaire. Fait qu'on se dit, bah, ça a marché, si on va le refaire. T'sais. Bon, ben, c'est une coïncidence. Peut-être c'est seulement qu'une coïncidence. OK, on achève, on achève. Donc, on arrive, le même shot. OK, puis là, ben, encore une fois, on a notre ami humoriste qui revient. So, we have this great actor that comes back with his humor. I was like, well, it's not necessarily the right place to put humor. The thing that was funny with C3PO is that you say to yourself, it's a robot. He doesn't understand necessarily what's going on. So he's going to say some stupid stuff. So you can accept it a little more. But now you got this guy that's supposed to be, I'm trying to be a Jedi. And he makes jokes. And even if it's to try to light up the atmosphere, même si c'est pour comme essayer de rendre ça comme plus intéressant, l'atmosphère soit moins lourde, ça marche pas. Il y a comme, encore une fois, j'ai l'impression que c'est comme, oh, on va domper. C'est comme si tu avais pris Jim Carrey. You don't put Jim Carrey in this shot. You know what I mean? So that's something again that I said, oh, not a necessarily good idea. Okay, so the humor, and then okay, so I got a question also that I was asking myself when I was watching this scene. So Vader makes sure that they won't escape. So he close up the hatch on the top so the ships can't leave. Am I right or am I wrong? But Vader showed up with an Imperial Star Destroyer. Well, it's over there. You can see it, but let's show the Star Destroyer. He came in this ship. So this is a huge ship. And why didn't he send out TIE fighters? So I was asking myself, they won't be able to leave because Vader's gonna put some TIE fighters on the top of this ship. So if they manage to open the door, they're gonna end up having tons of TIE fighters shooting at them. Fait que je me demandais comment ça se fait que Vader il a pas mis des TIE Fighters au-dessus du trou. Ils savent ils sont où. Fait que ça aussi, je vais comme comment ça se fait? Moi, dans ma tête, même s'il l'ouvre, il va y avoir des TIE Fighters, c'est sûr, certain. Vader, il n'aurait pas pensé à envoyer, même si c'était pas lui, il y a quelqu'un dans le stick de Star Destroyer qui aurait fait comme hey, on va envoyer des TIE Fighters au-dessus du trou si jamais la porte à ouvre. Hey, that's it, c'est fini. Tu sais. But no, there were no TIE Fighters over there. So why? Is it because the Star Destroyer that he's using got no TIE Fighters inside? I would be really surprised because it's a huge ship. It's a Star Destroyer. Anyway, once again, this is me asking myself questions because I'm watching this and I always ask myself too many questions. Uh, So after that, we've got the confirmation that Riva was a youngling, and she was one of the younglings on in the Jedi Temple during Order 66. Donc, on comprend que finalement, la théorie que beaucoup de monde pensait, et c'était exactement ça. Riva était un des younglings, une des younglings qui était là à Order 66. Et puis que dans le fond, elle fait ça, elle a tourné du côté obscur, mais son but, c'est de se débarrasser de Vader. Et pas juste Vader, de se débarrasser de Anakin. Parce qu'elle, elle pensait qu'Anakin s'en venait pour les sauver. Parce que hey, c'est Anakin Skywalker, il va venir nous aider. Puis elle savait en plus que il travaillait avec Obi-Wan. Fait que c'était un bon. Mais non, il est arrivé là, puis il a tué tous ses amis. Fait qu'elle a freaké. So she was mad at Anakin because she was expecting him ex- expecting him to show up and save the younglings, but he did the contrary. Il a fait le contraire. And for the first time, something that was really interesting, pour la première fois, il y a vraiment quelque chose qui est intéressant. On a vu, euh, on a vu Anakin tuer les enfants. For the first time, we saw Anakin kill younglings. We never really saw it. We saw when he shows up in the room and the kid says, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? That was like, we understood right away, oh, they're in big trouble. But this time you can see literally Anakin swing his lightsaber to kids. So like, oh, okay, graphic, thank you very much. So you can see how crazy it's not just like we make you understand that he kills kids. No, now we're going to show you that he kills kids, which is not necessarily a very good thing. So it was the first time that we saw it because we never really saw it in Revenge of the Sith. Riva wants to kill Vader. She's really mad. So afterwards, you have this Kala, I think her name was Kala, that helped Leia and Obi-Wan all the way. There's a great death scene of her for two reasons. The first one is that her famous robot, the robot that doesn't speak, also dies, but the robot protects her even if he knows that she's dying, and he dies protecting her dying. So that's really deep. That's like, I'm not gonna leave you here even if you're dead or if you're dying. And he protects her so she could take out this thermal detonator. Donc elle sort, le robot protège la fille jusqu'à temps qu'elle peut sortir une thermal detonator qu'on a vu dans Return of the Jedi. And it's the first time that you see one thermal detonator blow up. And it's close. It's a close up. And it's a great shot. You can see like the sparks start to come out from the middle of the detonator, like, and it blows up. So now you can understand why C-3PO and everyone in Return of the Jedi, when Leia took out this grenade, this thermal detonator in the Jabba's throne room, that everyone freaked out. So it's like, okay, we know that this shit's gonna blow up and everyone may not die, but we're gonna get hurt. Donc c'était intéressant de voir pour la première fois une grenade comme ça exploser de proche. Fait qu'on comprenait pourquoi C-3PO puis tout le monde dans le Jabba's throne room et ont comme capoté quand il a sorti ça. Ça, c'était intéressant. Ensuite de ça, on retourne encore au flashback. We go back to the flashbacks, and it's a great shot because this time you can see Anakin really going at it at Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan is like holding his grip and like, and what I realize is it's the same shot and it's the same movement, saber movement that you can see in Return of the Jedi when Luke is fighting Vader. So it's the same shot when Luke whacks at Vader's and just before he cuts his hand in Return of the Jedi. So once again, if you want to make sure, go back to watch this scene and keep in mind that famous shot when Luke whacks at Vader. It's the same shot. So it's interesting because you have to consider that first it's Vader, it's Anakin that fights like this on Obi-Wan, and in Return of the Jedi, it's Luke that fights exactly the same way with anger to beat Vader. So is that? So, and it's funny because it's the same thing because Anakin always saw Obi-Wan like a father figure. So it's the same. Once again, it rhymes. It's like poetry. It's the same shot, but in different era. I thought it was really interesting. So Obi-Wan uses strategy and not uses weapon to fool around or to play with, not necessarily a mind trick, but to tell Reva that he's doing this for her. He understands what she's going through, and she is ready to help her. So he kind of use a different approach than weaponry and not necessarily mind tricks, but you can see that he's a good strategist. Tu vois qu'il sert de la stratégie pour faire convaincre Reva que Anakin, dans le fond, il est en train de... Pas Anakin, mais Obi-Wan est en train d'aider Reva à amener Vader vers elle, tu sais, comme il travaille avec elle. So after that, Obi-Wan gets caught. Well, like he's not caught, but he gives himself up. And inside, when he goes back inside, you can see that he managed to fire on all the stormtroopers that is taking care of him. Donc, tu vois qu'une fois qu'il est rentré en dedans, avant que Vader arrive, il réussit à se débarrasser de ces stormtroopers qui s'occupent de lui, puis à le tenir le garder en otage jusqu'à temps que Vader arrive. Puis il y a une shot, encore une fois, c'est une autre référence. Tu le vois rentrer dans le plan, you see him inside the corridor, and the first thing that he does, he throws his weapon exactly the same way that he throws the weapon after killing General Grievous. And he says, so uncivilized. So once again, go back and watch this shot. He picks up the blaster. He doesn't pick it up, but he throws it on the floor. And it's the same way that he does it in Revenge of the Sith. Il pitch le fusil à terre, le blaster, de la même manière que quand il vient tuer General Grievous. Euh, Ensuite de ça, on a la shot que V2 arrive et puis avec la force, tu vois, il est tellement fort, il est capable de bloquer le vaisseau. On a déjà vu ça dans le jeu Jedi, je m'en souviens plus, là, Unleash, Jedi Unleash. Puis on a vu ça également dans épisode 9, lorsque Rey et Kylo réussissent à tenir le vaisseau avec la force. Mais là, cette fois-là, tu vois que V2, il n'y a quasiment pas de misère. Ah ouais, let's go, man, je te redescends à terre. You can see that Vader doesn't even have trouble holding the ship. It's a great idea, but once again, I thought it was really poorly made. There was huge evidence, not evidence, but it was obvious that Vader was real and the rest was CGI. It didn't look good. It looked fake. So the idea was great, but something looked fake. I love the way that Vader, once the ship is down, he managed to like destroy parts of the ship without touching the ship with the force. He's able to open the belly of the mount. Are you falling apart, man? Oh, okay. So that was a great shot. This shot, when you see the ship rip open, was better than when he arrives and managed to hold on to drag down the ship. Fait que je trouvais qu'encore une fois, le CGI n'était pas super, mais quand il arrache tous les morceaux du vaisseau, par exemple, ça, c'est vraiment impressionnant. Le truc du deuxième, c'est un peu. Ouais, puis après, on voit le fameux vaisseau après l'idée de se sauver avec le deuxième vaisseau en arrière parce qu'ils pensent qu'ils réalisent qu'ils sont pas dedans. C'était comme un fake. C'est un peu tiré par les cheveux. The fact that they are using like the one behind and he's not using the force to stop the second one. And also, where are the TIE fighters? So I was wondering, okay, they managed to escape. But where are the TIE fighters? Well, that's the question. We go back at once again to the flashback, and it's really interesting to see the weakness of Anakin. It's really interesting to see more information on the reason why there's a place for him on the council, but he's not a master. So, j'ai trouvé ça intéressant parce qu'on voit encore des faiblesses dans l'entraînement de Anakin lorsque, dans le fond, on le sait pourquoi il se fait donner une place au conseil parce qu'ils n'ont pas vraiment le choix parce que c'est l'empereur qui le demande. C'est Palpatine qui le demande, mais il lui donne pas le rank of master. Il ne devient pas un maître Jedi. Mais c'est une autre bonne information pourquoi. Ça, c'est intéressant. Reva attaque Vader. It's really interesting to see the way they use to show how Reva is strong with the Force, but Vader, once again, is like 1 million step ahead of her. He doesn't even take out his lightsaber. He stops the blade. He stops her swing with the Force. Vader est tellement fort par rapport à Reva, il n'a même pas besoin de sortir son lightsaber. Il arrête les coups de Reva avec la force et ses mains. Il fait juste esquiver, il se tasse. Il joue avec elle. C'est une démonstration. C'est comme si tu allais jouer avec un gars de la Ligue nationale puis que c'était la 3e fois que tu jouais au hockey. Là, tu vas te faire torcher. Mais c'est un peu ça qui est arrivé. Fait que ça, j'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant pour montrer à quel point que Vader, once again, he is so strong. He is at his top. He is really, really, really strong. And it gives you also an idea how Luke was strong now. You can say, and we saw it in The Mandalorian, but it's interesting to think that Vader is so strong that Luke is able to compete with him, but not Obi-Wan and not Reva, which is a dark side user. So Reva, well, you get like a double kill for Reva. You see her die as a Jedi, and you see her die as a Sith. So I'm wondering, we know that she'll come back for the last episode, or perhaps even for more seasons. She's not dead, that's for sure. So now I'm asking myself, if she died as a Jedi and she died as a Sith, will she become a gray Jedi? Will she become like in the middle, like a balance to the Force? So, like, will she decide to help out Obi-Wan or be like some sort of, cannot compare her to Ahsoka, but not a Jedi, not a Sith, but using the middle like Rey? I don't know. So I was wondering. And of course, we have the Grand Inquisitor that comes back, as we all knew, because he is in Rebels. Uh, and at the end, we know that Reva find the Bail Organa message, and we end with the shot of Luke. So this was the 5 Obi-Wan episode. Uh, Here is what I think might happen for episode 6. I don't have any spoilers. I don't have any information. I'm just going up with what I think might happen. Uh, First up, are we going to see more Jedi on this next episode? The one will we see Quinlan Voss or different Jedi that survived Order 66 that we don't know about? Will they end up going helping Obi-Wan? I don't know. Perhaps. Uh, will they? I think that they're gonna end this last episode. By the way, the episode's supposed to be 1 hour and a half. La dernière épisode est supposé durer 1 heure et demie. Moi, je pense qu'ils vont finir la dernière épisode avec l'arrivée de Qui-Gon. I think Qui-Gon will show up, maybe as a Force ghost or just the voice. But for the first time, I think Obi-Wan will manage to contact Qui-Gon for the first time. Uh, and more, as you can read on the internet and in interviews, more and more you understand that there'll be a season 2. There might be even a season 3 or even more seasons, because you have to take the fact that there's still 8 years to go before A New Hope. Il reste encore 8 ans avant que New Hope arrive, avant qu'épisode 4 arrive dans le timeline. Donc, ça serait fort possible qu'on se retrouve avec 2, 3 ou 4 saisons de Obi-Wan. Mais je crois qu'on va s'enligner dans la prochaine épisode vers une ouverture qui va démontrer que la saison 2 va probablement être axée sur Luke. I think that the next season will be the season that we were expecting, and Luke will be more of the more important character in this season. So we don't know how many seasons there are left, and I'm pretty sure there'll be more than one season. So, guys, we've been live for 2 hours and 13 minutes. I hope you did not fall asleep. I hope that some of the information that I gave you helped you understand some things that you might not have caught or seen during your first viewing of this great series. I think they did a great job. There's some things that need to be fixed. I think with the next series, they will probably fix some things that they'll hear on the internet. But overall, I really enjoy so far this season of Obi-Wan. So, guys, thank you very much for being with me for more than 2 hours. I thought I would be able to go through 6 episodes, 5 episodes in an hour. I was wrong. So if you are not watching this live, perhaps you've already seen episode 6, the finale that comes out tomorrow. Uh, I'll probably talk about it next week a little in the next the Vintage Kids. So, guys, thank you very much for following this podcast. Thank you very much for following us on Facebook, on the Yoda's Workshop group. Merci pour tout le monde qui nous suit sur le groupe. Merci les gens qui écoutent ça. Et vous savez, je fais pas ça pour avoir des likes. Je fais pas ça pour avoir plein de monde. Je fais ça pour le plaisir. As you guys know, I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for being famous. I don't care about this. This is really for fun. It's for having fun with you guys every week. And I'll keep on doing this even if it starts to be boring. So I'll bore myself to death. So thank you very much. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Well, it's not the weekend, but you know what I mean. For the rest of the week. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, si vous avez des questions, si vous avez des suggestions pour un prochain de Vintage Kids, gênez-vous pas, écrivez-moi. Vous pouvez l'écrire sur le groupe. Je vous invite à aller voir évidemment la vidéo ou les derniers épisodes. I invite you to see the other episodes if you missed them. On our YouTube page, it's it's the Vintage Kids, but it's on Yoda's Workshop YouTube page. So that's it. Have a great week and a weekend. Be safe, be good, be wild, be you. See you next time. Ciao.